After Ryan got back together with his ex-girlfriend for 3 months, he suddenly asked about me. Has Zoe been hiding away and crying again these days? His friends exchanged glances. Seems like it's been a long time since we last saw her. I heard she got married recently. It's probably just a rumor to make Ryan take her back. Ryan spoke calmly. Go tell her tonight at the usual place. His friends teased, if Zoe's crying, would you soften up? He chuckled lightly. We'll see. But that night, he waited until it was very late, and I still didn't show up. He called me, but I didn't answer. He has a girlfriend now, and I'm married. We definitely need to keep our distance. When Ryan got back with his ex, it happened to be my birthday. Just as I was about to cut the cake, the door suddenly swung open hard from outside. It was Emma again, the ex-girlfriend who almost cost Ryan half his life. She looked stunning, her dress and makeup perfect, her hair glowing as if lit from within. Instinctively, I hid my hand behind my back, but the calluses on my fingers snagged a thread on my dress. Ryan, Emma pushed past the friend standing in front of her and hurried in front of him, lifting her skirt. I give up, she said. This time, I'm the one giving in. Her words sounded submissive, but her chin stayed high, defiant. She fought back tears. The room fell silent. I looked. At Ryan, his face was cold, sitting on the sofa, looking indifferent. He didn't glance at Emma once. His lips were pressed tightly together. Ryan, I'll ask you just once, Emma said. You want to get back together with me? As soon as she finished, Ryan suddenly let out a mocking laugh. Who do you think you are? You break up when you want, get back together when you want. As he spoke, he reached out and roughly pulled me into his arms. His movement was rough, and my nose bumped against his firm chest. The sharp pain almost made me cry. Emma, I have a girlfriend. Can't you see? Ryan lowered his head, kissed my slightly wet eye, and then looked at me with concern. Emma's face went pale instantly. Fine, you're ruthless, she said, pointing at Ryan as tears streamed down her face. Ryan, I'll never speak to you again in my life. After that, she looked at me tearfully, then shockingly pushed over the table.
I can't leave.
The champagne tower toppled. Glasses shattered and the cake was ruined. Emma and I both got cut by the broken glass, her arm and my face. But Ryan let go of me and immediately grabbed her. Don't move, you're bleeding, he said, his eyes full of concern. I don't need you. Go worry about your girlfriend. Emma pushed him away, crying, and ran out. It seemed Ryan had forgotten about me. He hesitated for just a second, then hurried after her, didn't look back at me once. Maybe they thought I'd feel awkward, or maybe they were just Ryan and Emma's friends. It had nothing to do with someone like me. One by one, they all left the room. I was wearing a beautiful dress, holding my wounded face, feeling that quiet, sinking sadness. This was the most lavish birthday party I'd ever had, the big, beautiful cake. The one I used to press my nose against in bakery windows as a kid, dreaming of tasting it. I'd looked at it so many times, imagined its taste countless times. I almost had it. But now, everything was a mess. I crouched down, picked a clean piece of cake, and took a bite. But it didn't taste as good as I'd imagined, not even as good as a cheap cupcake. Still, I ate that piece. By the time I finished, Ryan's call came through. Zoe, his voice came through the earpiece, faintly mixed with Emma's. I'm here, I answered softly. I have something to tell you. Don't start crying first, he said. I'm a bit of a crybaby. My tear ducts are shallower than most. Ryan, are you done? I asked. You're breaking up with me and still comforting her? Emma's voice sounded angry through the line. Ryan's tone immediately grew hurried. Let's break up. They told me your face was cut. I'll give you some money. Don't come causing trouble. The money's more than your dad would earn in 3 years of fishing. I didn't get a chance to say anything before the call abruptly ended. Ryan has always been very generous. I've heard he had several ex-girlfriends before. During their relationship, he was extravagant and would give them a lot of money when they broke up. My best friend Roxana tugged on my ear, warning me, don't be stupid, take the money, or you're a fool. Getting dumped on your birthday? Nearly disfigured if you don't ask for emotional damages. We're being too kind. The scar from my forehead to the corner of my eye was slowly healing. But Ryan still hadn't transferred any money to me. I tried to confront Ryan and Emma about it, but I couldn't even see Ryan's face. Instead, I was harshly mocked by Emma and her friends. Just as I was about to call the police, my family suddenly ran into trouble. My father owns a small fishing boat. A few days ago, during a storm with huge waves, he accidentally grazed someone's yacht. Now, we have to pay a large sum as compensation. If we can't, he'll go to jail. What? If Ryan's supposed compensation to me was like the rumors said, it would just about cover it. My father's hair had turned half white from worry. I transferred all my part-time earnings and scholarship money to him, but it was just a drop in the bucket. Frustrated with my hesitation, Roxana grabbed my phone and messaged Ryan. His call came quickly, but when I answered, it was Emma's voice. "Zoe, is it?" Emma said. "Poor people really have no ambition. After taking so much from me, it's still not enough, and you have the nerve to ask for compensation? Women from your little fishing village really know how to hook and exploit, don't they?" My face turned bright red, and I struggled to come up with a reply. But tears started falling first, streaming down my face. How dare she say that about me? Ryan and I had been dating for less than a year. Every argument we had was because of her. First time, Ryan left me stranded by the roadside because of her, and I almost ran into trouble. We didn't talk for half a month, and I cried the whole time. The second time was also because of her. Ryan flew abroad, unreachable for a week. I decided to break up then. But when he returned, he was in such a bad state, and he even had a minor car accident. His friends kept calling me, saying he wanted to see me. When I finally saw him, I softened again. The third time was my birthday. I almost got disfigured. The doctor said if the injury had been half a centimeter closer, it would have injured my eye. Don't I deserve compensation? I'm just asking. For what's fair? I choked back tears. You're the one who hurt my face, and you ended up not being disfigured? Emma sneered and suddenly hung up. Then she transferred 5,000 yuan to me using Ryan's account. I held my phone, tears streaming down my face, but I stubbornly refused to accept the money. Accepting it would be like settling things privately. I may be a poor girl from the village, no match for these rich kids, but someday, swear, Emma will pay for what she's done. The due date finally arrived, but we still hadn't gathered enough money. The owner of the yacht appeared at our doorstep. I was honestly a bit surprised. Do rich people really have so much free time that they come all the way to my house over something so small? Were they worried we'd run away without paying? I quietly observed the man. The watch on his wrist. I heard Ryan mention that brand before. It was worth at least 8 figures. I couldn't understand it, so I just stopped thinking about it. I stood there with my father and brother, trying to be humble, hoping he'd show mercy. And surprisingly, he did. My father looked confused. "Did you say you'd give me a new fishing boat?" My brother was trembling with excitement. "Did you say I could open a shop and start a business on land?" My father dreamed of having the most advanced, fully automated fishing boat. My brother dreamed of opening a small shop and settling down on land, never having to fish again. "Yes, as long as she marries me," Elias said bluntly, pointing at me. "Her birth chart is very favorable for me. If I marry her this year, my assets will double." My father and brother both looked at me. "Zoe, what do you think?" I stood there, stunned. Elias seemed to be around 27 or 20, handsome, though when he wasn't smiling, he looked quite stern. He was worth billions. Tall, with long legs. No matter how I looked at it, it was a good deal for him. I swallowed nervously. If Dad gets a new fishing boat and my brother opens a shop, why don't I get anything? Elias was startled for a moment, but then smiled. When he smiled, he looked gentle and elegant. I felt my face heat up, embarrassed to meet his eyes again. But he waved his hand, and someone brought in lots of small cakes, fragrant, delicious cupcakes. I could eat 3 at once. Holding the cupcakes, I asked him some important questions. "Your last name is the same as Emma's. Do you know her?" Elias thought for a moment. "I think someone in my family has that name. And is she afraid of you?" I asked. His eyes deepened with a smile. "Her entire family should be afraid of me." This whole city, is your family more powerful than Ryan's? I pressed. Of course, Elias replied confidently. I clenched the cupcakes tightly and nodded vigorously. I agree, but I'm still in school. Can we wait a bit before getting married? Elias looked deeply into my eyes and smiled. We can register first, and then have the wedding after you graduate. I raised my hand to him. Deal. Elias high-fived me. Nice to meet you. My face turned slightly red. You can still call me by my name for no I. Don't want to make it public. Yet, Elias stood up. He's really tall, and I had to tilt my head back just to see his face when he said my nickname. It sounded a little strange. Even after he left, my ears still felt warm and burning. I would sometimes run into Ryan and Emma at school. Sometimes they seemed very much in love. Other times they were arguing, but they always made up quickly. I started making an effort to avoid them. Many classmates whispered behind my back that I had missed a golden opportunity, that I must be so jealous of Emma now. But no one really knew what I felt. I often woke up in the middle of the night, checked my phone, and saw the huge dowry Elias had given me. I'd count the zeros again and again, feeling satisfied, then drifted back to sleep. Soon, summer vacation arrived. I went back home to fish with my dad, completely stepping away from Ryan's world. But one day I got a call from one of his friends, and I was surprised. After some small talk, the friend finally got to the point. Zoe, tonight at the usual spot, Ryan wants to meet you. I was about to refuse. Dress up, make sure you look nice, he added. Here's a secret, Ryan and Emma have broken up. For real, they're done. Take your chance. Before I could say anything, the call ended. My dad was calling me to bring in the nets, so I forgot about it quickly. The friend came back, smiling, patting Ryan on the shoulder. I just called Zoe. The others chimed in immediately. Ryan, if Zoe cries, will you soften? Oh. Ryan flicked his cigarette. Ashen chuckled. We'll see. But honestly, Ryan, Zoe's personality is so much better than Emma's. Yeah, Zoe is really sweet. Remember that time you had that car accident and she came to see you? She started crying as soon as she saw you in the hospital. I watched from the side, feeling sorry for her. Ryan's expression softened as he recalled those moments. These days you've been with Emma all the time. I'm sure Zoe's been hiding somewhere, crying. I remember the last time I saw her. She looked like she'd lost a lot of weight. There's still a scar above her brow. Ryan paused, holding his cigarette. That day Zoe also got hurt. How could he have been so heartless to leave her behind? But Zoe is always so kind, so easy to comfort. He went home, changed into a new white shirt. Zoe really liked it when he wore white. On their first date, Zoe's face turned bright red. She didn't dare look up at him. When he kissed her, she was so nervous she almost fainted. He even bought her favorite hydrangeas. On the way to their meeting, he went out of his way to buy a new cake because Zoe loves sweets, especially little delicious cakes. The one on her birthday had been destroyed by Emma, but it didn't matter. He would buy her an even bigger, more expensive one. Ryan stood by his car holding the flowers. He knew his friends weren't far away, waiting to see the excitement tonight. He felt a vague mix of excitement and nervousness, just like on a first date. But as the minutes and seconds passed, Zoe still didn't come. Even the moon seemed tired and disappeared behind the clouds. Ryan checked his watch. It was almost midnight. Finally, he decided to call Zoe for the first time, and he would only try once. If she still refused to come down from her pedestal, then sorry, he might have to reconsider getting back together. The phone rang for a long time with no answer, eventually ending on its own. Ryan frowned, feeling a fire of anger growing inside. Suddenly, he heard his friends exclaim nearby. Someone's coming. Is that Zoe? It must be Zoe. She loves Ryan so much. Instinctively, he turned to look, his eyes starting to brighten. Not far away, a taxi stopped. Corner of a white dress, swayed in the night breeze. That slender, petite figure, who else could it be but Zoe? Ryan's anger vanished instantly. He wanted to step forward without thinking, but then he forced himself to stop. He had waited all night for her. She hadn't answered his call, hadn't come. Even though he really wanted to see her right then, he refused to be the one to approach. her, but the figure turned around. The stars gave off only a faint, dim light. The street lamp was high above, casting a weak glow. Still, it was enough for him to see clearly. The girl approaching wasn't Zoe. Despite how similar their build, clothes, and even hair looked at first glance. It wasn't her, just wasn't. The friends hiding in the shadows probably realized it too, because suddenly they all fell silent. Ryan's expression turned icy and cold. Moments later, he threw away the flowers in his hand and turned to get into his car. But Emma had already run over, her voice breaking as she called out, "Ryan, you're just looking for Zoe because she looks like how I used to be, right? You don't like arguing with me, you don't like me getting jealous, and you don't like me dressing too sexy." Tears welled up in Emma's eyes as she spoke. "If I go back to the way I was before, can we really be together again?" Ryan looked at her. She looked beautiful when she cried with her long black hair and white dress. She seemed pure and innocent. They had broken up and gotten back together so many times. And in that moment, she really did resemble how she looked when he first fell for her. But what he found even harder to believe, what surprised even himself, was that as he watched Emma cry, he felt pity, but not the same heartbreak he used to feel, even more as he watched Emma cry. He found himself inexplicably thinking of Zoe. Zoe never cried like this hysterically. Her tears always fell in big drops, but she held them in, never crying out loud. She was always cheerful, sweet, and gentle. Whatever he said, she would nod obediently and say, "Okay." It was as if she never had a temper at all. After being with her for a long time, he did start to feel bored. He thought she wasn't as lively as Emma, not as pretty, didn't share the same interests, didn't know how to have fun like Emma did. But after truly getting back with Emma, he quickly grew tired of her. After their last big argument, he told her bluntly, no more getting back together. He was done. Emma, proud and arrogant as always, agreed. He hadn't expected that she wouldn't hold back and had run over tonight, even dressed like the bumpkin she used to mock. For someone spoiled like her, that was a rare sight. Ryan had known her for years, after all. He couldn't be completely heartless. "Emma, don't make yourself look like this." "Go home," he said. "Is it because of Zoe?" she snapped. "She's just a stand-in for me, a bumpkin from a fishing village." "Ryan, are you crazy? Are you really giving me up for her?" Emma lost control again, growing hysterical. "I don't want to argue. Just go home and calm down." Ryan turned to get into his car, but Emma blocked the door. "Ryan, what do you want me to do?" she pleaded. "I've humbled myself to please you. I even said I'd go back to how you liked me, ... She grabbed his sleeve, crying louder, so he was only with you for your money. "Ryan, I'm the one who truly loves you. Can't you see that? If she really cared about you, would she have stood you up tonight, left you here waiting like a fool? The only time she contacted you after your breakup was to ask for money or compensation. Did you forget that?" Ryan's face darkened, and he clenched his teeth. She was hurt that day. Giving her some compensation was the right thing to do. "Ask the doctor. It was just a minor injury, some stitches, nothing close to disfigurement." Seeing his dark expression, Emma continued, "And tonight she agreed to come, but didn't show up. What does that even mean?" Ryan didn't answer, but his face grew even gloomier. Emma knew Ryan was proud and stubborn. For him to lower himself, even once, was already a miracle. If Zoe was just playing hard to get, she definitely picked the wrong person. "Ryan, she's just using you as a golden ticket, trying to climb the social ladder. We're childhood sweethearts. My love for you is genuine, with no hidden motives." It seemed Emma's words moved Ryan. He suddenly stepped forward and gently touched Emma's face. "Didn't you always want to go out to sea? Let's go together tomorrow." Emma's face lit up immediately. "And I'll borrow my uncle's yacht. How about we go see fishing?" Ryan thought about Emma's influential uncle. Spending time with him might help him get closer. He was about to graduate and join the family business. Ryan's family was wealthy, but he had many peers, many talented. He didn't want to be a lazy heir just living off a hefty allowance. If he could build a good relationship with that uncle, it would be incredibly beneficial. With these thoughts, Ryan's voice softened further. "Are you sure it won't be inconvenient?" At all, my uncle is super wealthy and always generous to younger family members. Last year, I visited him for New Year, and he even complimented me. Emma spoke confidently, proud of her family's wealth. She knew Zoe, poor and manipulative, could never compare to her. Even if Ryan's feelings for her had faded, she still had a rich family and her uncle Elias backing her. Ryan knew what truly mattered, who he should choose in the end. The next day, Ryan and his friends, ready to go out to sea, waited patiently, but they never heard from Emma. Ryan decided to call her. It took a while for Emma to answer, and her voice sounded strange, almost like she was crying. "Sorry, Ryan. My uncle needs the yacht today, too, so we'll have to borrow it another time."
Yes.
"Doesn't your uncle have more than one yacht?"
Ryan?
Asked. Sensing she was hesitating, Emma stammered, unable to give a clear answer. Ryan chuckled. "You lied to me, Emma. Looks like you don't have much influence with your uncle either." He hung up immediately, as soon as the call ended. Emma threw her phone in frustration. Her uncle had initially agreed to lend her the yacht, but after asking for a name, suddenly refused. He even gave a specific instruction. Anyone in the family can use it, except Emma. Within 3 minutes, this news spread throughout the household. Emma was humiliated, and her father was furious. He slapped her in anger. The other girls in the family mocked her openly, and secretly, Emma couldn't understand why her uncle would say such a thing. Dee always tried to be especially obedient around him. She racked her brain for a long time, but couldn't figure out what she'd done wrong to upset him. She felt a sinking sense of dread. She knew her family's status in the larger family might decline. Her parents relied on her uncle for their livelihood, and now she'd unknowingly offended him. Lying on her bed, she thought more and cried. What could she do to fix things? Even worse, she didn't know what she'd done wrong. "Ryan, I have an idea." A friend noticed Ryan's gloomy mood and spoke up. "Zoe's family lives in a fishing village. Her dad has a fishing boat and often goes out fishing. Why don't we go to Zoe's village, give her dad some money, and rent their boat?" In truth, renting yachts to go out to sea was common among rich young men. But his friends knew what Ryan really wanted, so they went along with his idea. Fishing was just a cover. His real goal was to see Zoe. Ryan chuckled. "That old fishing boat, aren't you worried it might capsize?" Still, the group set off with enthusiasm. When Ryan saw Zoe busy on the fishing boat, he almost blacked out. At school, she always looked so soft and gentle, wearing dirty work clothes and holding a large fishing spear. She was spearing fish with precision. She looked like a wild girl. TSK, she's really wild. Quite something. "Ryan, imagine if she threw that spear at us. There'd be blood everywhere." Ryan kept his eyes fixed on her slender yet agile figure on the boat. He cursed at his friend. "She'd spear you first." Actually, I had noticed Ryan and his group a long time ago, but I hadn't had the chance to pay them any attention. These rich young men were always at top clubs and yacht parties. Came to our small fishing village because they were bored. They were just looking for fun. Before, it was because of Ryan that I even knew them. But now, none of them bothered with me. As soon as I stepped off the boat with the fishing spear in my hand, Ryan called out to me. I didn't avoid him. I was in my village, and I wasn't afraid of them, so I walked straight over. "What do you want?" I asked. Ryan looked at me, then at the fishing spear I held taller than he was. "Put that down first," he said. I clenched my grip tighter. "This is for spearing fish. Are you scared?" Ryan's face hardened, and he quickly changed the subject. "You want to rent your family's fishing boat?" I shook my head.
No way.
"My dad needs it to go out fishing." Ryan coldly named a price.
Ow.
I was tempted, but I shook my head again. "I know, we have a whole crew waiting." He doubled the amount. My hesitation slowed. "I still need to earn my tuition," I said. Ryan doubled it once. More immediately, I beamed. "Deal. Zoe, you're coming with us too. It's your family's boat, you know it well, and besides, if we catch fish, we'll need you to make soup." I was about to respond when Ryan added, "Don't worry, the tip will be generous." While they were fishing, I lay on the deck board, feeding the seagulls. I was almost asleep from the sun when Elias suddenly called. I immediately scrambled up. I loved talking to Elias video calls, silly messages, anything. He was very patient and never thought what I said was pointless. He didn't care about my background or the calluses on my hands. He even praised my fishing skills and swimming. In his eyes, everything about me seemed special. Because of that, my confidence soared. "Elias, I made a lot of money today," I said excitedly when the call connected. "Not bad. Sounds like a great deal," he replied. "Zoe, you're getting more impressive every day," Elias praised me generously. Grinned, lying on the blanket, kicking my feet. "Yep. All I have to do now is soak up some sun, make soup, and I get a huge tip. If I get a few deals like this each year, I could retire." Suddenly, Elias asked, "Zoe, has it been a week since we last met?" I counted on my fingers. "Yeah, it has. I'll come pick you up tonight." I glanced at Ryan and the others in the distance. "I don't know if they plan to fish tonight." Elias chuckled softly.
Best.
"Don't worry, they won't." "All right, come pick me up." "Sure, I've got some work to do, but I'll call you later." Okay, reluctantly, I hung up. But as soon as I did, one of Ryan's foolish friends suddenly fell into the sea. I rushed over, joining others and throwing swimming rings to him. I even untied the lifeboat secured to the side of the boat and tossed it into the water, but the guy was panicking, flailing his arms. Splashing wildly soon, he swallowed a mouthful of seawater and drifted further away. I sighed, frustrated, and took off my work clothes. "Zoe, what are you doing?" Ryan grabbed my arm. I looked at him, confused. "I'm going to save him. What else?" I said. "You're serious?" Ryan asked. "Who else do you think I'm going to save?" I pushed his hand away, seeing that the guy was about to be overwhelmed by the waves, without wasting another second arguing. I shrugged off my work clothes, climbed over the railing, and dove headfirst into the sea. She jumped into the sea like a graceful little fish. The waves seemed to become her playmates. The fish swam around her affectionately. Everyone stood silently by the side of the boat, gradually falling quiet. The wind howled and the sails billowed. It felt as if all that remained in the world was this symphony of sounds. Ryan couldn't look away from her, not for a second. Her slender yet strong arms cut through the water swiftly. Reaching the person in the water, it was obvious she had professional training. Her movements were skilled and precise. Soon she pushed the man toward the lifeboat. He clung to it and gradually recovered. Zoe helped him onto the boat, but didn't climb up herself. Instead, she swam a few more joyful laps in the sea. She even caught 2 beautiful little fish. She waved her arms, showing off her catch to them. Her smile curved her eyes into crescents. The sunlight danced on the water like scattered gold, and she basked. In that shimmering light, she shone even brighter than the golden glow around her. Her wet hair revealed her smooth forehead. Ryan noticed the pink scar at the corner of her eyebrow. A sudden sharp pain, like a needle prick, struck his heart. It was as if he suddenly understood something. Zoe had never been a stand-in. He had never truly treated her like one. Real her was nothing like Emma. And back then, the reason she always appeared obedient and gentle was because she genuinely liked him. She had hidden those sides of herself, thinking he wouldn't like them. But now, perhaps she no longer liked him, no longer cared. So she could be herself now, without restraint. Ryan felt an inexplicable ache inside. The happier Zoe smiled, the more it hurt him. She was like a little fish in the sea, slipping further away, and he felt helpless, like he couldn't catch her anymore. When I came out after showering and changing, Ryan was waiting outside. We were about to leave. Ryan was called back by his family for something urgent, and I had a date with Elias. All I could think about was rushing home, changing into a beautiful dress. Elias loves buying me new clothes, and I love the dresses. He picks out for me. "What's up?" I asked, drying my hair as I spoke. Ryan suddenly stepped forward and gently grabbed my wrist. I was startled and quickly pulled away, taking several steps back. "Talk if you want, but don't touch me." Ryan stayed where he was. "All right, I won't touch you. Let's just talk, Zoe." "What do you want to say?" I asked. "Does your forehead still hurt?" It hasn't hurt for a long time, I replied. I know a great plastic surgeon. Can take you to get the scar removed. No need. I already have an appointment, I said. Elias had arranged it for me. He said he'd make sure that on our wedding day, not even a trace of the scar would be visible. I'd be a bride who shined. That day was my fault, Ryan said softly. And the money I promised to give you. No need. I finally looked at him. It was the first time I looked seriously at him since we reconnected. I had liked him before back when I liked him. But the sad, hurt moments far outweighed the happy ones. Our breakup was particularly unpleasant. But we weren't sworn enemies. Either, I'm a simple person. I prefer to remember only the happy times. I don't want to dwell on or recall past unhappiness. Besides, now I have a lot of money. Elis gave me a cake and a betrothal gift that day. And later, when we got our marriage certificate, gave me an even more generous dowry. My little savings are full, and I feel very secure. I've moved. Forward, looking ahead with confidence. Zoe Ryan's voice was incredibly gentle. Let's start over, okay? I'll pursue you again. I cut him off. I can't relive my 21st birthday. Nor can I pretend those hurts never happened. Ryan, let's both move forward. But back then, it was you who liked me first. He held onto the hem of my dress, refusing to let go. I smiled. But the one who likes first actually holds the power. I can always take back my feelings for you. I can fall for someone else. That's impossible, Zoe. We've broken up before, but each time we made up quickly. This time will be the same. This time it won't. I pushed his hand away, stopping him from getting closer. Why? I didn't. Want to share my personal life with him? So I just smiled softly. It has nothing to do with you. On the night of my date with Elias, I drank for the first time. As he carried me to the car, I clung to his neck, refusing to let go. Elias laughed. Zoe, remember your limits with alcohol. I can't remember, why should I remember? With Elias. By my side, I wouldn't be in any danger or have any accidents. There will be times when I'm not around. If you're not with me, I won't drink. I lay in his arms, feeling soft and lazy, not wanting to move. He was so warm, but firm hugging him wasn't exactly comfortable. I shifted and wiggled, trying to find a comfortable position. Finally, I settled into a spot that felt just right. While I was comfortable, Elias seemed to be in some discomfort. I looked up at him. The alcohol blurred my vision, making everything fuzzy. I cupped his face. Elias, what's wrong, Zoe? His voice suddenly turned husky. His body temperature seemed to rise. I felt hot like he was a furnace. Instinctively, I wanted to move away. But Elias suddenly tightened his grip around my waist. His long, strong fingers, his palm hot through. The thin fabric of my dress, his warmth seared into my skin. For a moment, I was dazed, staring at him. Elias lowered his head and kissed me deeply. It was a kind of deep kiss I'd never experienced before. Strong and commanding, yet unforgettable. It felt like a door to a new world was slowly opening in front of me. When the kiss ended, I found myself wanting more. Maybe it was the alcohol, or maybe there was always a wild streak inside me. As Elias tried to move me off his lap, I lunged forward and kissed him again.
More.
Elias kissed me like that again. Zoe. The car was moving smoothly forward, the outside lights flickering through the windows. Elias' face was close to mine, his features even more handsome and chiseled up close. Our breaths tangled and mixed. There was a flutter in my heart. I opened my mouth and bit his chin. Stop being so slow, Elias. His Adam's apple bobbed violently, and suddenly he flipped us. Pinning me down on the seat, his long fingers grasped my chin. Zoe, open your mouth. The car had been parked for a while, yet we remained locked in a deep, relentless kiss. At some point I tugged at his suit and shirt, leaving them disheveled. His abs and V-shaped muscles peeked through, making me even more entranced. But eventually, Elias pushed me away. I felt terrible, but the drunkenness overwhelmed me. When he carried me out of the car, I nestled into his arms and fell asleep. When Elias carried me upstairs, he gently kissed the side of my face again. My little mermaid had grown up, and he had finally come to fulfill the promise he made back then. In a prestigious, powerful family, talented individuals abound, both openly and secretly. The competition never stopped. Eli's father had also been caught in a fierce power struggle, which even involved his wife and children. He had been kidnapped and thrown into the deep sea when he thought he would sink with the rocks and be buried in the ocean's depths. Zoe suddenly appeared. Her diving gear was basic, but she swam incredibly fast in his delirium. He even thought he had met the little mermaid from fairy tales. She cut the ropes with a small knife she carried, then dragged him to the surface. That night, he lay on a rickety fishing boat, saved by her fish soup. She talked non-stop, chirping endlessly. She had many wishes. She wanted to buy her dad a new fishing boat, her brother to open a shop on shore, and the boy she liked to like her back. She wanted an endless supply of little cakes. At the time, he didn't have the strength to respond, but he remembered everything. And now, the time had come to fulfill those wishes, one by one. The only thing was, back then, the person she liked was Ryan now. Would she like him? He thought he had enough patience to wait until he got the answer. In my last few months at school, Ryan kept coming around, pestering me, but after a few days, he disappeared. Later, I heard from my best friend Roxana that Ryan seemed to have gotten into trouble. He caused a huge mess for his family's company. It seemed that from now on, he wouldn't be able to be involved in the core family business anymore. As for Emma, it seemed that overnight, she'd been blacklisted by Hong Kong's socialites. I had a vague feeling that all of this was probably Elias's doing, the childish things I had once said. They had taken them all seriously, but I'm not the kind of person who's magnanimous. Of course I wouldn't speak up for Ryan or Emma. I heard these things, but I didn't really care. A year flew by in the blink of an eye. I inherited my dad's fishing boat. I was getting married. Elias was usually very low-key. But this wedding was unprecedentedly lavish. When the entire city's attention was on the wedding, Elias quietly issued a message. The wedding will be grand, with many guests, but 2 people are not on the invite list. Sir, could you tell us who these 2 individuals are? Ryan, Emma. Within minutes, Ryan and Emma's names spread throughout Hong Kong once again. Later, they quietly asked Elias, by doing this, they'll have no place in this city anymore. Emma still calls you Uncle Won't the family. Think you're too ruthless? Elias pulled me into his embrace, playing with my fingers and rubbing the thin calluses on my fingertips. After a while, already been merciful. After all, he was someone who fought his way through blood and turmoil. Just making those 2 unable to step into Hong Kong was an act of mercy. And the reason he did this is because someone who once didn't believe in fate had come to believe in it. He wanted his wife to live a long life and grow old with him, so he saw it as an act of virtue, a way of accumulating good karma. He hated Emma, and he hated Ryan even more. The thought that Ryan had once received her affection kept him awake at night. Now that they were far from Hong Kong and unlikely to return, Elias finally found some peace in his heart. I can't really see the mercy in you, I said. But this is good too, he replied. I still remember how arrogant Emma was after hurting me. I pulled my hand away and frowned. My hands are still rough. But you were so happy spearing fish, what can we do? Elias shook his head helplessly. It was true. If I have calluses, then so be it after all. Elias doesn't mind. Happiness is the most important thing, Zoe. Elias hugged me from behind. We stood before a vast floor-to-ceiling window, looking out at the distant harbor and mountains. This entire bay is yours. What would I do with such a big bay? I turned to look at him. All I need is a boat and a small piece of sea. Is that all? I paused suddenly, realizing something, and for once, my mind was sharp. Oh, right, and I need you too. Elias suddenly laughed. He looked down at me, smiling for a while. Then he slowly leaned down and kissed me. At least you still have some sense. I wasn't shy at all, immediately hooking my arms around his neck and standing on tiptoe to meet his kiss. Don't stop halfway tonight. It makes me so uncomfortable. I always sleep poorly afterward, having all kinds of crazy dreams. Elias suddenly pulled me closer, our bodies pressed tightly together. All right. This time, even if you ask me to stop, I won't. Not going to ask you to stop, I said. He kissed me, then chuckled. All right then, we'll see, Zoe.